Speaker. And like the Chair, I'd also like to say it's the best committee, and the committee staff were amazing, was really good. I rise today to talk about that experience and learnings regarding not only the Transgrid outage last October, but the real life ongoing experience of people living in some of the most remote communities in New South Wales. While many people here would find a power outage an inconvenience, and even a couple of weeks of rolling outage very annoying, the effect on these communities stopped them functioning. If one suburb was without power, you could simply drive to the neighbouring area and life would be bearable. These folk lost power. They lost their phone connections, not only because they couldn't charge them, but because the Telstra towers were powered and the batteries did not last more than a couple of hours. While generators were put in place, they were removed prematurely. It was crazy that any time this happens, usually when they have small blackouts, the technician needs to restart, has to travel for 6 hours from Dubbo. If they have generators, I must say they sold out very quickly and the price went up exorbitantly. The issue then became sourcing fuel for the generators. Fuel became a problem as people didn't have internet to pay for the fuel, and some browsers run on the internet for payment. They were extremely resilient people. They are used to power outages, but not like this. They still dug deep and helped each other out. Stores, clubs started refrigeration, air conditioning and power for phones. RFS supplied generators and delivered food hampers and other services. CWA, golf clubs, etc. Health was of concern, and some practitioners slept at work so they could be accessed. I was fascinated that health could not tell emergency services who was vulnerable without power because of privacy issues, but people, when they sign up for power, declare how power is vital to them. So the information was available elsewhere. There were new babies in 45-degree heat, people on home dialysis who would start the process just to have to stop midway. The biggest issue was communication. The commercial arms of electricity supply, Origin, Red and whatever, dealt with the issue differently. Red gave some customers a discount on their next electricity bill. Some, after impersonal inquiry, did Origin do the same. It was all different. It was messy. Credit was given to the member for Barwon, Roy Butler, and his office, as well as ABC Radio, as they were often the only source of information that the community could receive. The unregulated area, the Greater Darling Council and Broken Hill Council, seemed to be delayed in receiving the notice of the oncoming catastrophe and only having information coming to them by social media. There were little or no reports coming from the community that councils did anything to communicate or assist people. The regional emergency management committees and the local ones had varying times that they either met or instigated action. The reports by many residents in many towns was they did not know where their official emergency building was to go. Transgrid itself was poor in its communication during the outage, but also failed to answer any emails for information posted on the outage or address any claims. They sat through our town hall meetings, and as people presented themselves, they took people aside as they left and tried to deal with them then. So they used our meetings to make contact, where up until then they'd not made any effort to connect. One of the most frustrating for people for this Far West was they were surrounded by the solar power farms and wind farms, and the commercial agreements stopped this being used. When we hear from government services, they told us how prepared they were and how they pre-deployed people from the North Coast for Australia. While the people in communities are extremely resilient, they were let down on this occasion, and I believe it's about communication and training for emergency services.